Hello, everyone. Welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbale here in Abuja. Tonight, we get a one-on-one and a close conversation with Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State. And our conversation will be some of the activities we saw that he did today in Oyo State. Of course, we'll talk about the NEC meeting, the federating unit in this very turbulent economic situation in the country. What are the roles of the governors in all of these? Plus, also, we'll tell you what the presidency is saying about Nigeria-made products. And the president himself, Bola Tinubu, is saying he will lead the charge. He will ensure that he patronizes Nigerian-made products. We'll see how that works out. We're hearing from the presidency on that matter today. And of course, the implication of the killing in Delta State. It has some economic implication. On those who operate within that sector, there are implications, far-reaching implications on this. And those who are saying the president must ensure that those who perpetrated that evil, killing those 12 persons, are brought to justice. But first, before I serve you some of your political roundup stories, let me tell you about what the presidency has been talking about. And it's about made in Nigeria products. Today, the presidency has revealed that President Bola Tinubu will patronize Nigerian-made products. And he's asked Nigerians also to do the same. His media special advisor on the media, Ajuri Ngilale, told journalists today at the State House at a briefing. Take a listen on what the president has in mind in respect of made in Nigeria products.
His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu wants to communicate very clearly to our people that there has never been a more important time in our history to actively agree together that we will patronize and purchase made in Nigeria products across all value chains, across all sectors. There is an intentionality that we must have on this issue, that we want a strong currency. We want the spending power of our people to go up. He is also wanting to ensure that Nigerians fully understand that the momentum that we are now seeing with respect to the strengthening of our currency is not going to slow down. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to ensure that our micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises in the country have what they need to get through this difficult period.
All right, we'll see how this pans out. Maybe we could see the government, MDAs, and agencies and parastatals of government, and in fact, from the presidency, maybe they can start using jet motors, innocent motors, not motors that are locally fabricated and coupled here in Nigeria. That way, when we see government officials doing that, I've seen a few governors, maybe I think in Anambra and Abia State, using innocent motors. Maybe we can then now see leading by example, and all Nigerians can also follow suit. This will be very important, isn't it? Well, let's serve you with some of your political roundup stories.
The political face-off in Rivers State has taken a new twist as the Rivers State House of Assembly has overridden Governor Similayi Fubara's assent and enacted law. The House of Assembly convened an unscheduled sitting early today, during which they observed that the governor did not assent to the amendment of the Rivers State House of Assembly Service Commission Act into law after 30 days as required by the Constitution.
I will give in this letter to the governor today. I'm bringing to the notice of this House that 30 days have elapsed. So, Mr. Speaker, just to notify the House and to notify you.
The Chief of Defense Staff, Major Christopher Musa, today paid a courtesy visit to the Minister of FCT, Yeson Wike, in his office in Abuja. General Musa pledged the commitment of the military in restoring security to the FCT, as well as protecting the people of Nigeria, just as he seeks the support of citizens in his operations. To Abia State, where former President Olusegun Obasanjo has admonished other state governors to emulate the Abia State Governor, Dr. Alex Oti, by repealing the law that allowed former governors and their their deputies to collect pensions to reduce the cost of governance. The former president said this when he paid a courtesy visit to the governor in Mvosi, Isialangwa South local government area to congratulate the governor for bringing an end to the rascality and law that stipulated that the former governors and deputies are entitled to 100% of the annual basic salaries of the incumbent governor.
The pension for ordinary people are unpaid. What sort of leadership is that? And you came and you say there will be an end to that rascality.
The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, is asking security agencies to commence early preparation and deployment of their personnel to Edo and Ondo states ahead of the governorship election in the state, as this will enhance success in the election. Professor Yakubu was speaking while meeting with the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security in Abuja.
It is important to start security preparations early. In particular, the number of personnel and other assets to be deployed to strategic locations should be determined and mobilized early enough.
2 students of the Nasarawa State University, Kefi, have died during the distribution of palliatives, while 23 have been hospitalized. The head of information of the school, Mr. Abraham Habu, disclosed this to Channels Television. He said the school had received palliatives from the state government to distribute to students to cushion the effect of the economic hardship. He explained that students overpowered security agencies during the distribution, causing a stampede that resulted in a death and injuries, while the food items were carted away. Meanwhile, the governor, Abdullahi Sule, has ordered an investigation into the matter and commiserated with the victims of the stampede.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. So let's get started. In the midst of the economic downturn in the country, there are those who have been asking the question, what is the role or the roles of the governors in the different states of the Federation? There are 36 of them. And perhaps if the federating units are coming up to speed with their duties, maybe things will be reduced. And we've seen some activities of some of the governors that one can put finger on. Today, we saw the governor of Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde, who flagged off the road infrastructure project of the Circular Road that is going to be about 32.2 kilometers in Oyo State. That road infrastructure component of the 110-kilometer project, named after a former governor, Rashid Ladoja, will complete the first phase of the important project started by Governor Makinde's government after previous administration had more the idea, but to no avail. The 32.2-kilometer southeast wing of the 4-section project comprises 6 bridges and 2 interchanges, which have all been completed since 2023. And in the flag off, the governor was talking about the economic importance of this project to the people of Oyo State, which brings us to why we are on this conversation tonight. The people of the interior and the rural areas in the country must feel the presence of government, and in direct connection to their lives and livelihood is what impact are these projects going to make on the pocket, on the monies in their pocket and the food on their table, especially when the prices of commodities are getting out of the roof. Let's speak with the governor of Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde, who joins us now from Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Thank you so much, Governor Makinde, for joining us tonight. Sure. Yeah, appreciate it. There are those who will say, yes, infrastructure is important, but one thing that is also very, very important is the stomach infrastructure. When there is a collapse of the stomach infrastructure, road infrastructure is almost no-brainer, because at the end of the day, the infrastructure that you can see physically, it is the stomach infrastructure that we have. And we have seen some governors and politicians who have paid attention to stomach infrastructure. But give us an understanding why this very project is important to the people of Oyo State.
Well, thank you, Sean, for for having me. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Okay, yes. Well, you have to deal with immediate issues of hunger in the land. But while doing that, you also will have to deal with medium to long-term issues, which are the main infrastructure that will ensure that you're productive. And that is exactly what we're doing in Oyo State. We didn't only flag off the 32-kilometer southeast wing of the circular road. We also commissioned some junction improvement projects, which, though some people may say, oh, this is a small project, in terms of how much you've spent, it's not a small project, but also in terms of its impact, because time is money. With the junction improvement work that we've done, we've been able to first shorten the time that you need to commute, especially through a busy place like Agodi Gate in Ibadan. But also we were thinking of, how to deal with people that are selling on the side of the road. One, for their own safety. If there's a brake failure, people get crushed. A few weeks ago, we had a gas tanker, that overturned right on the road, and I just kept thinking to myself, what if this had resulted into a conflagration and in the middle, of where people are selling? So we're looking at how to take these people off the street so that you can have a free flow of traffic. And in a few weeks from now, about middle of April, we're holding local and international tourism investors, in Oyo State. And people don't want to come to your environment and see your dirtiness. They don't want to come in and see, how you're not able to move from one place to the other because of traffic bottleneck. They don't want to come in and see, that all your people are thinking is just something for the short term. So there's a connection between dealing with the immediate issues of hunger in the land and dealing with the long-term, medium to long-term issue of providing infrastructure, expanding our economy, and ensuring that you're on a trajectory, where what you're doing can be sustained over a long period of time.
Yeah. So, Governor, the Sokpo-Orowo-Mi syndrome is a very popular one. And for those who perhaps don't understand, is that Ibadan drivers, especially those who drive those taxis, colored green taxis in Ibadan, are very used to flagging down with their hands, asking those who are the other commuters if they didn't see their hands when they're flagging. And so Sokpo-Orowo-Mi syndrome is very popular in Ibadan. And to tell the story of how tedious and how chaotic traffic situation could be in the city of Ibadan, Bere, Iwo Road, Challenge, and the rest, a nightmare is driving through those areas. And when you open up the areas, New Bodija and the rest, but these other areas that you have opened up, the Idiakwe Civic Center and Agodi Gate axis, it brings a whole lot of ease in the traffic situation. But it's going to be a lot of shock also to traders who are used to not paying money for the stores on the roadside. And the economy, the little economy is going to be impacted. These are the little and the small scale businesses. What is the plan to alleviate their pains? Because you will have to take them out of their natural habitat. They're used to it.
Thank you, Sean Foster. Let me explain a little bit our own concept of development. Oyo State is a fairly large state. We're over 28,000 square kilometers. And we have 5 major zones. You have Ibadan, you have Oyo, you have Ogbomoso, you have Okeogun, and also Ibarapa zone. So when we came in 2019, we started by saying, look, all our zones must be interconnected. So we fixed the roads between Ibadan zone and Okeogun zone, Okeogun being the food basket of the state, for ease of transportation of food produce, between where it is being produced and Ibadan is where is the population center. So that road, if I remember correctly, was commissioned by the former governor of Benue State. Then we approached the federal government because between Oyo and Okeogun zone also, it's we had a federal road which eventually they gave us the approval to reconstruct, and we reconstructed that road between Oyo. So Oyo is also now linked to the food basket of the state, Okeogun zone. Now we went to Ogbomoso. No road was in existence when we came in between Ogbomoso and Okeogun zone, and that road now is maybe almost 92% done, and we are going to be commissioning it as part of our first year anniversary of our second tenure, which is end of May this year. With that, we've been able to link 4 major zones. Now the Ibarapa zone, we have linked Ibarapa to Okeogun, but not in the specific way that I would love it to see. We have linked Ibora, all the way to Igana. So those are full belt for the state. And we're working right now and also linking Ibarapa to Ibadan, through Ido in Ibadan. So that has been our concept. Now, having been able to get all of this together, to get in a situation where people can live in Iseyi and work in Ibadan, is only 45-50 minutes now. People are going from Oyo to Iseyi. They are going from Ogbomoso through Iseyi, to other Okeogun towns and cities. In Ibadan itself, being the state capital, we also just started fixing all the roads, the inner roads within Ibadan. People were criticizing us initially that, we're linking up the major zones of the state. How about the inner roads? Now we've started with the inner roads and the connectivity, that we're trying to create both intra and inter-city, in Oyo State is what we hope will drive our economic growth. And just what you said about Shoko Rawambi, which is the behavior of taxi drivers in Ibadan before now. Let me say this. I challenge you, Shehu, come to Ibadan and I will take you around. Our taxi drivers now, they obey traffic lights. They queue, even the Okada drivers, Okada riders. When they said to me that, you need to ban Okada riders, I said, no, I will not ban Okada riders in Nigeria, in Oyo State, because if they are filling a gap, then we need them. So if I'm not banning them, I will control them. I will know who they are. At least 80% of Okada that are plying the streets of Oyo State today, they are painted specially. they are painted like the taxis in Oyo State. So you know when you see them that this is an Okada that is being used for commercial activity. And we've registered over 50,000 of them, and the registration is still continuing. So if you come to Ibadan now, Sheung, things are pretty much very organized. Very organized. And we expect to...
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and hoping that no green taxi drivers will tell me, "Chokbo me," but then... so you see the roads there. But I mean, the interesting thing is this. The Ogun State, the southwest axis coming to more deep south of southwest, talking about Lagos, Ogun, and Oyo State. There seems to be some kind of competition between those three states in which one has the highest industrial zone. If you ask Governor Dapo Abiodun, he will tell you that he is the mother of industrialization in Nigeria. If you ask Governor Sanwo-Olu, he will tell you that he is home to the major industries in Nigeria. But in the recent years, we're seeing almost 30 billion worth of agribusiness investment in Oyo State. Well, tell us, Governor Makinde, tonight, what would you like Oyo State to be known for, and how much have you attracted to the benefit of the Oyo State people in terms of industrialization and attraction of private investors?
Okay, well, let me say this. Just before I came on this program, I was watching you, and then you were talking about what the president said about, patronizing made in Nigeria goods, products and services. Well, let me be clear. For us in Oyo State, yes, we look at import substitution and we think, well, import substitution is good. And remember that in Oyo State, we have the only plant that converts cassava to sorbitol. I commissioned that plant in Ado-Awaye, and we have a whole new ecosystem being created in there. And I asked the lady, so can't we look at this for export? And she said, well, we're not even able to meet the demand, the local demand for sorbitol. And by the way, sorbitol, you use it in your toothpaste, and few pharmaceutical products like that. We're not excited so much about import substitution. Yes, it's good to be able to feed ourselves, but what will create wealth for us and even for the country is when you export. When you export, when your market, is not limited to your little market in your country. When you are selling to the rest of the world. So suddenly, instead of talking about selling to 190 or 200 million people, you're thinking in terms of selling to 1 billion people. And the mindset is totally different when you are going in that direction, because your quality will have to be right. And your engagement is not only looking at your local environment, you're also looking at what exactly does the world need. So coming home to Oyo State in particular, when we put in our money to fix the road between Oyo and Iseyin, we knew that road was going to pass through Fashola, which is a major agribusiness hub for us. We're not just talking about agribusiness, to feed ourselves. We're talking about major industries, agro-processing industries coming in there to be able to sell to the rest of the world. So for us in Oyo State, we are looking beyond just feeding ourselves. And if you go back in time, when we talk about cocoa, groundnut, palm oil, they were not selling to Nigeria at that time. They were selling to the rest of the world and the proceeds were being used, to bring in forex and also for development within our regions at that time. And that is our focus.
So Governor Makinde,
how do we create wealth?
Yeah. So what can you tell us? Because we know, and some of the output or some of the what we can tangibly lay claims to in the Second Republic industrial kind of revolution is the cocoa house, which stands in the center of Ibadan, where you can say the Southwest government, the government in the South are coming together in some of the investment that we have seen. What do you think, what produce do you think your state can give to the rest of the world in the next 2 years? What would Oyo State be known for?
Oyo State happens to be one of the states selected for special agro-processing zone, and we're being supported by the African Development Bank. First, I know this has always caused issues between me and Governor Akeredolu. Oyo State is the largest producer of cassava in Nigeria, and we have the data to justify it. So we have cassava. Now we have cassava to sorbitol factory, cassava to starch, and we're also looking at cassava to ethanol. Now, if you move forward, we also think Oyo State should excel, and we are increasing how much land we're cultivating for soybeans. So for soybeans, we think Oyo State is well geared, to also, you have soy milk, you have things that we can process soybeans into, coming from Oyo State. And lastly, we are the biggest producer of animal feeds, in Oyo State. All the inputs came from Kenya. We have a Friesland Campina in Fashola right now. They told me, in terms of the gestation period, the proof of concept, when they brought those seeds to Fashola, something that normally would take about 5 years, in other places around the world, especially in East Africa, it has taken us only 1 year, to start producing AIDS to feed our cattle. And it will surprise you that a bag of AIDS to feed the cattle is actually more expensive than a bag of rice. So for us, those are three things. Of course, we have a secondary produce that we're looking at, like tomatoes. Of course, cashew is doing well in Oyo State. We have the plantation that are being regenerated, and a lot of people are still coming to Oyo State to, take their cashew. I have a company in Itesiwaju local government that is processing cashew juice into spirits, drinkable one, and we're encouraging the company to expand, and they are exporting also. But the message to the people of Oyo State and to Nigerians is that for us, our salvation is not only in import substitution, is not only in producing to feed ourselves, but in taking on the markets that are available around the world.
Governor Makinde, we are due for a break, but quickly, even 30 seconds, you can quickly tell us. To the benefit, all of these things that you have listed, it will amount to one thing. What benefit has it been for the people of Oyo State in terms of the numbers? Thank God you are an engineer, so mathematics is your very good friend. In terms of the indices, in terms of IGR, increase in IGR, in terms of the GDP, in terms of the betterment in the livelihoods of the people of Oyo State, can you give us maybe 3 of the figures of the indices that has changed since some of these projects and development that you have mentioned?
Well, when I came in 2019, IGR for your state was a little short of about 1.8 billion naira monthly. But now we've doubled that. In fact, more than double. We're around 3.8 to 4 billion naira monthly. But it is still very insignificant when you compare to 120 kilometers down the road, Lagos State, they are making about 65 billion on a monthly basis in IGR. So I want a situation where your state IGR will, before the expiration of our second tenure, will get to somewhere between 10 and 15 billion naira every month. So, and we've been able to achieve this without raising taxes on the people. It's just by
but you've borrowed. You've borrowed a little, right? You've borrowed.
Well, you see, when people say you borrow, but can you just go to the bank and say, look, give me money to do certain things without having the capacity to pay back? And when you talk about even borrowing, just before I came in, $200 million was borrowed by the previous administration, and it was handed over to us. But in terms of real money right now, it was at that time about 80 billion, but now it's over 320 billion because of the depreciation of the naira. So, you know, the dynamics of how you manage your economy, you can't say, oh, don't borrow. No, you should not overstretch yourself. And if you borrow, you must have the means to pay back.
All right, we're due for a break, Governor Makinde, but I have just two questions for you before the end of the program. I know you got upset when the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, now erroneously said that the governors are collecting 30 billion and there's nothing to show for it. You responded. I want to know how much. There's about over 20% in the increase in federal allocation going to the state since Bola Tinubu government came into force. And also the security memoranda on state police. Did Oyo State submit? If you did, what is your perspective on that? Those two questions after this break, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you everyone for staying with us. So we've been speaking with Governor Seyi Makinde. Our closing moments with him now. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for your time tonight. Something got you upset recently when the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, said the governors are collecting billions of naira. But, asking, basically, what have you to show for it? The figures are showing that in the final months of last year and in the early months of this year, the states have had increase in federal allocation, which means that there should be more money for the state to spend. The citizens in the state should benefit more. For you and your colleagues, the question is, what have you done with the money?
Well, I really want to put, that behind us because the Senate President has also come out, made his own statement. The bottom line really is in an ideal situation, we all should not be going to Abuja cap in hand, begging for money. So talking about, FAC allocation and all of that, we are not addressing the real issues in front of us. This should create their own wealth, survive on their own setting under America. Have you heard of, state of Texas to beg for money? So I don't want us to get distracted. If you look at fact will not take any state out of poverty. As of this particular month, for instance, this is the figure that came out yesterday. Oyo State got 9.3 billion as the state allocation from the federation account. And the salary for the month and the wage award is about 8.6 billion. The salary itself is about 7.3, and the wage award is 1.3. So we're left with about 600 million naira at the end of this FAC allocation. Is that what will take the state somewhere when the totality of the project that we're currently carrying out is in hundreds of billions of naira? So I think, Sheung, let us start the discussion about how the states can be viable, how you can use our comparative advantages, to competitive ones, how we can create wealth, across the length and breadth of this country, rather than saying, even in terms of purchasing power parity, what you're getting today, if you change it to US dollars, for instance, how much will that be? And some of the inputs into even ordinary road construction, you pay your contractor, they buy asphalt, from outside of this country is imported. What do you use to pay for it? So I think we should get into discussion right around wealth creation for the states.
Yeah, Governor Makinde.
That is what I will.
Yeah.
If we're spending our time talking about, who's gotten what at FAC and all of that, we are actually distracting ourselves, and then it's going to serve us no good.
Yeah, I think I need to have some more time with you to discuss some of these concepts, the federating unit, the present-day Nigeria, and some of the realities, but time will not permit us on this very occasion. But
sorry, Sheung, you asked me a question about the state police. I did not submit any memoranda on state police, but my position is very clear about state police. I didn't submit, not because of arrogance, but I don't think the approach will quickly get us to where we want to go to. You're asking the state, to submit memoranda, how state police will work. I see it as, quite frankly, a waste of our time. I think the National Assembly, they know what to do. They have people that can quickly do this work. It is not the National Security Advisor. It is not National Economic Council that will deal with the issue of the state police. It's a constitutional thing. It should go to the National Assembly, and then at the state level, we get our state houses of assembly, to pass this law. That is my own position.
But do you think that is the right way to go? State police, do you think it will work as a state governor spending the second term?
Well, Sheung, when we started Amotekun in the southwest part of Nigeria, it was the compromise. We couldn't get state police. And we said, okay. And we had security issues all over the place. So we said, if we cannot get state police at that particular time, let's get something that is close. And we got our attorney generals and our state houses of assembly within the southwest zone of the country to enact a law similar across the 6 states. And in Oyo State, I can tell you that we've employed more Amotekun personnel, more than all the other states in the southwest put together. All the states that are operating the Amotekun laws.
Governor Seyi Makinde, thank you so much indeed, and congratulations on some of the projects that you have flagged off today, and hoping that when next I come to Ibadan, I won't hear anybody say to me, "Shockball or me." Then I'll be able to let you know that Shockball or me syndrome is still there. But thank you so much indeed for your time tonight, Governor Makinde, for your stay.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Shem. Thank you.
Our attention will now be on Delta State, where Governor Sheriff yesterday had given a stern warning about what happened in Okuama, where soldiers were murdered gruesomely. Tonight, we'll be looking at the implication, what this means to the oil and gas industry. And the government, the president had also said, those who perpetrated this evil will be brought to justice. I have joining me tonight Comrade Unwo Zuzu Shigozie, who is the National Vice President of the Association of Nigeria Refineries Petroleum Marketers. Thank you so much, Comrade, for joining us tonight.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
How much of a setback is this kind of incident to your sector?
For one thing, my sincerest condolences to the Nigerian Army and then to the families that lost their beloved one. Indeed, a sad one. Because as we are here speaking, many families are in pains. So many women are now widows and children, and they are fatherless. And so many dependents too are also in agony. So that put together, what more than when we talk about economy? So it's really a setback for all of us and as a nation.
So I'd like you to let us know, because we've gotten several perspectives and angles to it. So the angle that some of us are learning is that this thing is beyond the land dispute. It's beyond just settling a dispute between Okuama and Okoloba community. This also has some angle. What is it that the public is not popular in the public domain that you can tell us?
Well, what I can say here is quite a very sensitive issue, because lives are involved, and particularly Nigerian soldiers that are well trained of high-ranking officers. And the good thing that a panel of inquiry has been set, and the Commissioner of Police is swung into action. I think as Nigerians, it will be good we have that confidence in the professionalism of Nigerian police and then the military intelligence. Let's hold on so that we don't preempt their findings. Let's have that confidence in them while the grieving family and we Nigerians grieve. So let's hope something tangible will come out of it, so that the gray areas and a lot of things that happen within the creeks that me and you don't know, but is something that is common from the investigation and the findings, will definitely come to the table.
So,
because
yeah, Mr. Chigozie, this is not just about land dispute, is it?
It can never be. It can never be, because if you look at the dastardly act, the gruesome murder of these soldiers, people who engages in land disputes are usually the elder statesmen, the traditional men in the village who knows the history of the land. But wedding sophisticated weapons to murder soldiers or to clear a community is beyond land dispute.
This is your natural habitat. This is the areas where you work. This is an oil-producing area, definitely, yes. Isn't it?
Sure.
Do they refine oil, or do they exploit oil in these areas?
One thing that is obvious is this. In Niger Delta region is a land that is blessed by a God, the maker of heaven and earth. So the people around there try as much as they can to see what they can harness. So in all these areas that these crises are, the warlord, one question we should ask, because these are like communities that are known for farming and fishery. How do they have access to all these sophisticated weapons? It means that there is business they are doing, the business that is known in the Niger Delta. So it's either you are getting involved directly or indirectly. So there is also a fight for supremacy. Who controls that water region? For you to allow anything to pass, there is monetary reward that comes with it. So I believe with the outcome of the investigation, a lot of truth will be, will be unveiled.
There's a lot of illegal oil bunkering going on in that area. Is that true?
Yeah, sure.
And some of these warlords or these gangs or these violent or non-state actors also, like you said, are fighting for supremacy in those areas. I mean, I don't know if you've heard of the name of called Egbema in that area. And there are those, and there's a video that has gone viral now, which I think you have seen.
Sure.
What can you say to that kind of video? Someone who comes out to say, I am the one responsible.
One thing is this, you know, those riverine areas, they are creeks. They are not just like the street where me and you live. And sometimes when people make videos, one might make video in Abuja here and say it's in Lagos, just to deceive the security operatives. But all that we know is that the Nigerian government have actually declared war against pipeline vendors and people who patronize them. All we need to do is to harmonize that fight. And we can as well give kudos to Tantita since they came on board. Actually, when they came on board, some of us condemned them, but they've achieved a lot of success. But there is area they are not doing well, which the government should also come into. Because now, how do we ask you to help us to stop people from vandalizing our common property? And when you succeed in arresting these people, you end up destroying. You are neither not helping at all. You're also destroying our environment. You're also destroying our assets. It's just like you, Sheon, now. You bought a brand new car of a 2024 model, 2023 model, and at a gunpoint you are robbed. You ran to police for assistance. Signal was sent, and that car was found. What would be your reaction? Won't you be happy? Will you destroy a vehicle? Will you?
I mean, so the destruction of those vessels are wrong.
It's wrong. It's jungle justice.
What would you have suggested for them to have used those vessels for?
One thing, we live in a country that has a constitution. Constitutionally, there are agencies that are constitutionally mandated to handle such matters. If you could check our history books, in the years past, when Navy makes arrests or the Army, they normally hand it over to civil defense or to police or to EFCC for proper prosecution. Because tampering with our national asset gets to the point of you serving a life jail.
But those who will say that destruction of those vessels serves as deterrence to those who are involved in oil bunkering or illegal oil bunkering.
Then I respond again by asking you, you are a landlord, you built your house, you put it in tenant, and you have some bad tenant. Will you, because of a bad tenant, and you destroy your house?
In Anambra State, there was a situation where kidnappers' houses, the houses that are being used by kidnappers, are demolished to serve as deterrent.
It is also wrong. You know why? Even most times, those houses that were destroyed were not actually built by those people. Those houses, if they were actually built by those kidnappers, the person that committed the crime is not a kidnapper. The house could be, transformed. The house could be used as a police division. The house could be used as an orphanage. Because in most of those states, you see people roaming around the street.
Mr. Chigoze, I'd like to ask you, why is it been so difficult to tackle this illegal oil bunkering and oil theft in the Niger Delta?
It is dimensional. One thing is obvious is this. Those over there, do they really believe in that vision called Nigeria? Do they trust the government? Have they been cheated? How is those communities? Have they felt that wealth that the nature bequeathed to them? If we check other Western countries of the world, if such is found in your land, all you do is to pay royalty to government.
But there is NDDC to be able to bring development to those areas.
Yes, you are right. But now the point is this.
And I think 13% derivation fund, yeah.
Now the question now is, people are not properly enlightened, especially we from the Niger Delta. We are not properly enlightened. And I think government should pay much attention to that. It's not about allocating funds to NDDC. In each community, when road projects are to be executed, those building the contract or those whom the contract has been awarded to should be publicly made known to the beneficiaries for them to know that this company XYZ, such amount has been given to them so that they will also be part of the monitoring.
Let's wrap up this conversation, Mr. Chigoze. Is there any kind of truth in the conversation or debate that there is a collusion between security agencies and some of these vendors or some of these oil thieves?
Well, it's a recurring question, and we know that in every 12, there must be a Judas. Without the security agencies, we won't be here. Even the Tantita that is also doing very well. Without the security agencies, they wouldn't have achieved much. Now, there are coalition. It takes two to tango. And I believe in the course of everything, a lot of people have been prosecuted. If you go to the army, many of their personnel are also in the prison. If it gets to the knowledge of the authority, they don't just shade it.
Let me ask you, on a final note, what would you say is a way forward? And what perhaps can you tell the nation tonight as an operator in that sector that the Nigerian people need to know?
Yes, what Nigerian people need to know is this. The president of this country, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, meant well for the country in his inauguration speech when he made mention of stopping subsidy. Though it would have been, redirected in another, format, because in the industry, people are being deceived. The consumers are being deceived. During the time of General Obasanjo, he deregulated diesel. People don't complain about diesel. But I tell you today, diesel contributes much to the cost of goods in the market. Because oil plant, oil big lorries run on diesel. Yeah. Because it's been deregulated for long, nobody talks about it. And nobody cheats anybody. You sell as you buy. But the PMS that me and you use, do you know that your pocket, the tank of your vehicle is vandalized on a daily basis? But you don't know. The station owner, yes, not quality, both quality and the pricing. Now, because of the fluctuation in the forest and the vicissitude of international trade, the prices of PMS, the premium motor spirit, was increasing astronomically. The president thought it wise that it will affect the common Nigerian. People were crying. He now blocked it. No more reviewing of the price upward. Now, in Nigeria now, the prices are done regionally by the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. So in your state, Abuja is there, not central. They have their price, 617 naira. It's only an NPC that is selling that 617 naira. How come other stations are selling the way they like? It's because of lack of political will. It's because of the regulatory authority. Yeah, Mr. Chigoze, is not helping the Nigerians.
We're totally out of time. Thank you so much, Mr. Nwozuzu Chigoze, who is the National Vice President of the Association of Nigeria Refineries Petroleum Marketers. Thank you so much for your intervention tonight.
It's my pleasure.
That's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'll see you on Sunday at 8 p.m. God bless.